Hey guys, okay, so now I'm going to show you the tour part of the first video. Okay, so now we have just ignore that back there, my son, he's 3, he likes to mess with stuff, but we have a, something Hauser, it will not come to my mind, but this is a camellia. It blooms like these really, really big pink blooms with yellow in the center, and it's so funny because the lady that gifted us this plant, it blooms around the time of my mom's birthday, which is February, in our zone, which is a zone 8, and she gifted this to us without knowing that that was my mom's favorite camellia. So I thought that was pretty cool and special. So this is hers, and I will post an update of this whenever it's in full bloom in February or around February. Okay, so then over here we have a plumbago that's just starting to come back. I have dealt with the most like pests this year that I have ever seen. Like, I don't know where they're all coming from, honestly. I think it's slugs. Like, there's some damage on these. This is, I think, some kind of, like, actual bug damage. I'm not really sure. Like, it looks like there's something on the back of them. Like, there's some kind of, like, mossy stuff. Like a nest on the back. Not really sure. There's a bunch of like little holes. It's like skeletonized leaves. I don't know. I've never had that happen. Usually my plumbagos are really pretty, but for some reason this year I have had a problem in this bed that we made for my mom. I don't know, like they've eaten away my hostas too. I'll show you. But that's a plumbago, and it's just now starting to come back and rebound from the heat, and just we're trying to get the water situation better in this garden because it was, or it still is, watered by the grass sprinkler instead of like its own zone with its own like flower bed irrigation. So this winter we're gonna work on that. Right here, it was about eaten down to the ground, but this is an Arctic, or a fire and ice. That's what it is. A fire and ice hosta, and I'm excited to see it grow. Like, I think that next year it will be better because this past spring is when I actually planted it. So I think by next spring it should be better, especially if we can get our water situation better. And then we have a lamb's ear here, and it has taken off tremendously. I put it in the ground this spring and it's just gone crazy. So this is the focal point of, well, one of the focal points of the bed. So this is a lantana tree. I mean, it has been made into a tree. And butterflies, let me tell you, love it. Like, butterflies will be all over this tree. A lot of times you see the big monarchs out here. I mean, they love it. But it is such a pretty color. It's got the yellow and the pink variegated. Or not variegated, but the multicolored. And it's very pretty. I've actually had to prune it back a couple times, and it's so big it weighs itself down. I'm pretty sure I'm probably in the winter going to have to cut it back pretty hard, because in the winter I cover it with a sheet so that the branches don't weigh down and break, but it also is a very tender perennial in our area, so I cover it with a sheet. And actually this last year we had a severe freeze, like 3 or 4 straight days of freezing temperatures, like below freezing, and it actually took out my whole hydrangea hedge of limelight in the backyard. It killed them all, so we had to pull those up. I mean, it's just been a really bad growing season for me. for some reason. I just have not had the best luck this year, but I'm hoping that that will turn around next year. So right below it, this is one of the only plants I bought this year, but this is and it really needs to get in the ground, but it is a Proven Winners, and it is, I can't remember, something to do with water. I can't remember what it's called, and I don't see a tag in it. Blue something, but it will grow. I think it's between 4 foot wide or 3 foot wide and about 2 or 3 foot tall. And I'm gonna plant it just under this tree here if I don't find any roots. If I start finding roots, I'm gonna move it and put it somewhere else. I need to go through and get out all the old leaves. And then beside it, we have some Blue Days Evolvulus from Proven Winners. Or no, I think this is Blew My Mind. I think it's Blew My Mind Evolvulus. But it's just a morning glory that opens in the mornings, and it's very pretty, and it's just kind of like a ground cover up front. And I have them lining, so like there's one there, there's one there. And then I'm gonna have to move this one, but there's one over here behind this, or up under this heather that I have. But before we get to that, I'm gonna come bring you back over here. So we also have, oh, there's a little baby toad. See it? Okay, so we also have some Big Daddy hostas here that have just, like I said, they've just been eaten by something. If y'all know what this problem is, please just let me know. I mean, we get sun scorch, but this never happens. And it happened to every single hosta in my garden. Like the skeletonized, and just, I'm not really sure. Because it skeletonizes and then it just kind of dies on the tips. I also have an Aztec grass back there, and I have another one around the corner that I'm going to put over there. And I have 2 Big Daddy hostas, one on each side under that tree. So those will continue to grow. My mom wanted to grow a hosta garden, so I'm excited to see that. This is actually peppermint that I've just cut it back down to the ground. But my mom, this actually was one of the last things that she had bought, and she wanted it to grow in her garden, but she never got to plant it. So I took it upon me to take it home, and I planted it in her garden here. And it smells amazing. So then beside that, we have 3 Gaura. It's just the hot pink Gaura, and I just cut those back as well because they were massive and floppy and just a mess. Behind that, I put a big leaf hydrangea, and I actually bought this back around Mother's Day, and it has put on so much new growth. I mean, we do have the anthracnose and the fungus on it. I mean, that just happens here in the South. We have humid summers, and it's hard to, like, it's really, with irrigation and everything, it's really hard to keep that kind of problem away. We'll just clean up these old leaves once they all drop, and it'll be good to go in the spring. But as we close out every year in the season, I mean, that happens. But I'm excited to see how much that has grown. And then we have some echinacea. So I have 1, and then 2, and then there was 1 right here, but I had to pull it up and put it in a pot because it was looking really sad. But those bloom like a reddish orange yellow electric color, and I'll show you those. I'm hoping this next spring that they come up really good. They didn't come up great this year. I had like 2 or 3 blooms from them, so I'm hoping next year they will, and I'll show you in a tour then. I actually just yesterday came out and transplanted some Shasta daisies from my front garden bed, or flower bed, because I am gonna do big things up there, and I will probably post a second video showing you exactly what I'm going to be doing up there and giving you an idea. And honestly, that up there is like horrendous right now as far as weeds go and everything. I have to tackle it for sure. But come spring, I'm really hoping to make it look beautiful again. But yes, these are Shasta daisies, and like I said, they don't look great. They needed some iron, so I gave them that. Whenever they went into the ground, you can see that there's the green veining and the yellow leaves, so I gave them some iron. So yeah, we'll see how they do here. So far, no wilting really, so I'm hoping they take pretty well. Then I need to clean up my extra dirt, but right beside it is a drift of heather, and this is just the Mexican heather. Bumblebees absolutely love this. You can see one right there. So bumblebees love it, as well as just honeybees. But it will grow and be really pretty around this pot fountain that we got for her garden. And I'm actually gonna end up having to change the way that the base is, because the pot itself is very heavy with the water in it. So the basin that said that it could support that much weight is kind of bowing in. So we're gonna take out all the water from it, because I had planned to put rocks around it and make it all pretty. But we're gonna take all the water from it and then probably build like an actual pond type thing with some bigger rock, like stones in there, and then have it up on its own little pedestal. And then from that point, put it on there and then put rocks around it. That way we know that it's not gonna fall into that reservoir and break, because that is a really big pot. So then beside it now, this is a, not blushing bride. Oh, I just heard a hummingbird. The hummingbird's over there at the lantana tree. Oh, it just flew off. But this is a, it'll come to me, maybe. But this is a cascading hydrangea. Something wedding, maybe. I can't think of it. If it comes to me, I'll let you know. But it is a white cascading hydrangea, and it died back in that winter too that we had, so it's just now coming back. And it doesn't look good, but it really does compared to how it looked at the beginning of the season. I thought I was gonna have to pull it. I thought it was dead, so it's actually pushing growth. So we'll see what it does next season. I'm gonna give it some iron because it looks like it probably needs it, as well as just some fertilizer in general, and we'll see what happens with that. My mom loves spider ferns, so we have her one of those, and like I said, it's been eaten too. Like, I'm gonna have to really spray hard this next spring, because something has just been eating my plants alive. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna have to spray it really hard. But she loves spider ferns. She also loved azaleas, and my sister-in-law and brother-in-law actually gifted me this azalea to go in her garden after she passed, and it is a beautiful pink color with the little dots on the side. So it's a very pretty one. Of course, it's not in its prime. Nothing really is right now, with it being September, or actually no, it's October now, so nothing's really in its prime. But I just felt like it had been long enough, and I wanted to get on here and kind of show you guys around and update you and let you know that I was still around. But this one also came from her garden at her house. I had to cut it off because the top died off, but it is coming back down from it's coming back from the base of the plant. This is a gardenia. It was a gardenia standard, but since it's my mom's, I really didn't want to get rid of it completely. So I kept it, and I'm just gonna kind of baby it and see what happens. Even if it's a bush, I'm fine with it. It's kind of special to me. So just the fact that it came back is kind of special. My mom also had a bunch of Mexican petunias in her garden. So I have one where the start of her garden is, and then there's one actually on the other end over there that kind of separates the garden. But there's that, so we'll keep that in check because those go wild here. This is another plumbago. This one has really taken off. I had to actually cut it back because we have a little baby Gara here that I don't even know is going to make it. But this is a light pink Gara that I got from my mom's garden as well. But I don't know. All it has is this one little sprig, so we'll see. It looks like it might be pushing a little bit of new growth right there. I don't know. I'm just going to kind of watch it and we'll see what happens. There's also some more Aztec grass. That's the one I'm going to put in the backyard because I feel like with the spider fern right there, that's just too much. Like, we have plenty of variegation, plenty of like that leafy structure, or the, you know, the strappy leaf, grassy like texture. So I'm gonna get rid of that and put it in the back. We also have another one right here. I'm wanting to do like a flagstone pathway, you know, leading to the backyard. So that is the plan right here. So I just kind of have to fix it up. Then right here we have the, let me think. It's red. Dynamite red. The dynamite red crepe myrtles that were here before. We just kind of made a flower bed around them. So, but they're very pretty. Very pretty red color. And they come out looking white in the beginning, and then they turn that red color. Down below it, I put 3 lantana bushes, and they are doing so good. They are huge. I just put them out last fall, and they just look amazing. Butterflies love it, of course. You can see a bunch of butterflies, hummingbirds on it all the time. But it's the yellow. It's like a very, very pale yellow with a brighter yellow center. So I really like that. Just kind of a subtle look. But there's a butterfly on it. And then behind it, we have some balloon flowers. And it's those little plants back there. And I have them just kind of sprung out all around, but they get like really big and tall, and they have these purple balloon shaped flowers that come off of them, kind of like a satellite disc is what it looks like, or a satellite dish. It's very interesting. But as far as this flower bed right here goes, I really have other plans. Like, okay, so I have 3 of the crepe myrtles. That one down there, my golden doodle decided to jump on it and break it off at the base, so we had to cut it all the way down to the ground. So it's coming up from the ground, but I am thinking I want to dig them all up. Honestly, I'd probably just cut this one down just because it's so close to a lantana, and I would hate to lose my lantana. But I want to dig the other 2 up and put down a is it Osaka? It's a white weeping crepe myrtle though, that gets a little bit taller than these. So I would put one on each end instead of having the 3. And then keep the 3 lantana. And then behind that, I think I want to do like a purple fountain grass. That's kind of what my thoughts are on this part. Because I'm not loving the look anymore. And these crepe myrtles, I mean, they're okay, but they haven't been amazing to me. So we'll see. I'll just finish off with the side yard over here, and then I'll make a different video for the front yard. But this side yard, I've kind of started on it, but it's pretty rough. Okay, so this hydrangea here is the Limelight. It's one of my originals from whenever I built the house. But once again, like, we have some like brand new leaves that look really good, but then all the old ones are being eaten by something. I really honestly have no idea. I have not seen a bug on these plants once. Like, I really don't know. But they're petering on out for the season. But it has grown a lot this year, I will say. This bush has really taken off as far as growth goes. We still have our hostas over here, but they have some good leaves. You can tell the newer ones. This one's a newer one. These are sun hostas. But see, I need to get in here and cut back all these old ones that just don't look good, as well as the old bloom stalks. But we have 4 of those right there around. And then over here is our agapanthus / lily of the Nile, and it's actually setting its seeds now. So this, if you've never seen agapanthus seeds, these are them, and they go and just drop into the ground. That's why I still have all of these up. If it snowed here, I think I would keep these up all year round, because it would be so pretty to see like big old snowballs, you know. But we don't get snow, and I just, in the winter time, I just don't see these ugly tall brown bloom stalks to be very pretty when everything else is dead and brown too. So I just break them off, but until they set their seeds and drop them all, I don't touch them, because here they do propagate and naturalize, so that's what I'm wanting them to do. But we have a bunch of them here, along with a bunch of weeds that have got to be taken out. I have a pot here. It's now weeds, but it was a dahlia, and I'm gonna put something else in it. I don't know exactly what yet. I'm thinking some snapdragons or something. And then also we have this last Mexican petunia over on this side. And Mexican petunias, if you haven't seen them up close, they're very pretty. They have like this brown, like almost like a chocolate looking stem. And then like, especially the newer ones, like this stem's a little bit newer and it looks almost chocolatey. And then they have these really thin, dark green leaves, and then the pretty purple flowers, petunia flowers. And these two will naturalize in our area as well. Like, you have to keep a check on them big time. But the weird thing about these is they drop, all of these flowers that you see on them right now will drop to the ground tonight. And they will have all new buds and flowers tomorrow. And they do that every single day. And there is not one day that this is not flowering. And I can stand beside this, and there are parts that are probably 6 foot tall. Like that biggest one right there, that's probably 6 foot tall. And this thing's only supposed to get about 4 foot. So it loves life here. And this is my plan for this area here. I'm thinking of letting those naturalize and kind of letting them go this way, and then cutting out, like letting them go to the, you know, just below that brick ledge, and cutting, like keeping them hedged out under that brick ledge, and then keep them going on down until they hit the other one down at the end. And I think that would just be really pretty, because you in the spring and early summer, really it's early summer, these lily of the Nile bloom, and they bloom like a bluish purple, and then that is a deep purple. So I thought that would be really pretty, along with the hostas that are a light lavender color, and then we have our limelight. So I think that would be really pretty. And we actually also have the plumbago down there that's blue. But I'm thinking of doing that, and then in front I'm going to do a hedge of dwarf boxwoods all the way down to the end of this row here, and keep that hedge down a little bit, get one that grows like 3 foot or so, and just keep it a little more formal looking over here, because the leafy texture of the agapanthus, I mean, it's okay, but by the end of summer and stuff, it gets scorched, and it's just not that pretty to look at anymore. And I think a little more formality over here is what I'm kind of desiring at the moment in my life. Along with, you know, being able to just see the blooms above the hedge of boxwoods, I think would be really pretty. So that is my idea for over here. But yeah, I hope to start posting more videos again. I've really missed you guys. I've missed this. I've missed gardening. And now that it's actually cooling off a little bit, I think our highs are like mid 80s, high 80s, but the humidity's coming down. So it's a little more enjoyable to get out in the garden and actually work and do things. So as I start tucking it into bed for winter this year, I hope to bring you guys along. And then next spring, I am just so excited to get my feet wet again and get back into it and start really putting down some new designs and some new plants. And I am just really excited to bring you guys along with me on that journey, because this is just a passion of mine, and it's what I love to do, and it brings me happiness. And I hope that y'all being here with me and seeing it grow and transform, that will help you guys get out and really get motivated to do something in your garden, or do something that you love, whether it's gardening or not. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it looks better next time I do a tour. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one when we do the front garden bed. So stay tuned.